Khamzat Chimaev is going to submit Kamaru Usman at UFC 294 in 4 days. And yes, I understand that he's in a world of trouble if he doesn't finish this fight early. I completely get it, because I expect Khamzat to come out the gates, guns blazing. And this ain't no big Paulo Costa that he's up against either. Kamaru Usman has 5-round championship experience. He has a gritty, crafty set of skills as a veteran, and he actually has some serious power and a reach advantage over Khamzat Chimaev. And he knows a thing or two about staying safe and weathering a storm. We've seen Kamaru Usman weather a storm, and that's exactly what's going to be coming to him this weekend. And I understand that Kamaru Usman is one of the hardest men to take down in the UFC. His takedown defense is at 97%, and there have been like maybe 60, 70 takedown attempts on him throughout his UFC career. But the 2 times we've seen Kamaru Usman get taken down by Leon Edwards and Colby Covington, although Colby Covington's takedown wasn't counted, everyone that's got a pair of eyes knows that that was a legit takedown, and Usman actually had to grab the fence to get up from the ground. But he's been taken down by both of these guys, and when I've seen him on the ground in a not-so-dominant position, well, to be fair, he's kind of looked out of place. He's looked like a fish out of water. And I think he's got that typical Trevor Whitman-like jiu-jitsu that we see from no other than Justin Gaethje. And I think that there's probably nobody worse to be in a non-dominant position with than Khamzat Chimaev. If Khamzat takes Usman down, I think he's toast. I think he's done. Okay? And that's not to say that Usman can't stuff these takedowns. I just think it's a tall order for him because, again, if you look at the style of takedown that's worked on him, Colby Covington got a body lock on him and tripped him and took him to the ground twice. Leon had a body lock and used an inside trip and landed in mount. And what happened from there on out? Well, we saw Usman in a world of trouble. We saw Usman get his back taken, and he looked like he was fighting for his life. There were no signs of him being able to get out of that position. And I think Khamzat Chimaev's just got a little bit of an edge over someone like Leon Edwards, who, although has good defensive jiu-jitsu skills and decent submissions, he's just not in the same ballpark as someone like Khamzat. And Khamzat's also bigger than Leon Edwards. Khamzat's also more ferocious. I mean, this has been my take for like the past 2 years. Whenever I've thought about this potential matchup between Chimaev and Usman, I've always said that I see Usman getting choked out. I see him getting subbed, okay? And the reason is just because Usman is really difficult to take down. We understand that. But when you implement this style of grappling on him, and if you can take him down, which if there's anyone that's strong enough to do it, it's probably Khamzat. I mean, yeah, Khamzat Chimaev is not going to ragdoll him like he did to the Leech. He's not going to drag him across the octagon with a body lock like he did to Burns. But if there's anyone that could fully commit to a takedown and make sure that they get it and put everything into it, it's probably Khamzat Chimaev. And if he gets it to the ground, what I've always said is that Usman, he's kind of like Woodley, man. If you put him on his back, if you put him in a bad position, he doesn't have great jiu-jitsu. And if we're looking at all the guys that have tried to take him down, other than Leon Edwards and Colby Covington, with the body locks, you know, with the trips, they've all been single legs. They've all been double legs from guys like, you know, old man Damian Maia with his Wobblestone, Cobblestone knees. And who else, man? Who others? Woodley got shucked off pretty easily shooting his double leg. Burns shot a double leg. And not only that, but he also has the threat of knocking Usman out on the feet. And I get it. Usman's going to be fully prepared for Khamzat to come out the gates, guns blazing, trying to take him down. You know, he's going to be fully prepared for Khamzat to try to take his head off. But if we think about Usman's past opponents, they've all been smaller than Khamzat. They've all had a lesser reach than Khamzat. Even Leon Edwards, who we think of as being this long, rangy striker, has a 74-inch reach. Khamzat Chimaev has a 75-inch reach. Khamzat Chimaev has the power advantage. And I think that if Khamzat just sticks behind his basics, like the 1-2, basically the same things that Usman's good at, he's going to be the guy that can have a little bit more success because he's still getting a lot better. He's still young. He's faster. And he's bigger. And so even if he does drop Usman, I think he subs him. I think he's going to jump on him like Charles Oliveira would if he hurts an opponent. And I actually think that it's likely that Khamzat Chimaev hurts Kamaru Usman if he does get his first takedown stuffed, because you have to think about this. As I mentioned, Kamaru has got the threat of the takedown on his mind. He knows that he's been put in a bad position against Leon Edwards. He knows that he's been choked out before as well. He got choked out back in the day. That was his only submission loss. Dude, he's going to be thinking about this, okay? And what's that going to do? Well, he's going to get a taste of his own medicine, all right? And the taste of his own medicine is going to be having a serious threat of grappling looming over somebody. And not just the threat that Gilbert Burns has, but it's a whole lot more serious now because Khamzat Chimaev has got 10 times the wrestling or the ability to take someone down that Gilbert Burns has. And once it even hits the mat, I understand Gilbert Burns is good off his back. He's really good defensively. But Khamzat Chimaev, as far as offensive ability goes, he clears Gilbert Burns. He's so much more dangerous than Gilbert Burns in an MMA setting. I'm talking about MMA, not fucking jiu-jitsu. All right? Usman understands that if he gets taken down, he could get finished by this guy. He's been vulnerable to neck attacks before. And so he's going to be thinking about that. And Khamzat also is going to put pressure on him and also has a long reach and a nasty jab and really solid right hands. And guess what else he has? Heavy-ass low kicks. He's got really heavy leg kicks. And if his team is smart, because I know if I'm Khamzat's coach, we're going to be drilling some low kicks for the next week. Listen, there's no secret. He's got these wobbly legs, these cobblestone knees, all right, that are going to be sharp in the clinch. You know, God forbid Usman gets a hold of Khamzat in the clinch and starts flinging bricks at him with those cobblestone knees. It's literally like a brick hitting you in the stomach if you get hit by one of those. But my point is, if he kicks the legs of Kamaru Usman, because he's got more power than Leon Edwards, you know, think about Usman and all the damage he took in his last fight. That's irreversible damage. Edwards probably kicked Kamaru Usman in the knees, I'd say 50 times minimum in their trilogy alone. And that's not even counting all the leg kicks Usman took in his second fight. And people haven't really kicked the legs of Usman throughout his career because they've been worried about being taken down. And Khamzat ain't worried about being taken down. So I just see that there are so many advantages that Khamzat Chimaev has going into this fight. He's got the threat of the takedown, a taste of Usman's own medicine that he's going to be given to Usman this time. He's got the low kicks, the powerful low kicks, no fear of the takedown. And when it comes to being on the ground, there's nobody else like Khamzat Chimaev with his finishing ability, okay? I don't want to hear it. He just beat Kevin Holland. He just beat Li Jingliang. Those fights don't mean anything. Bro, I understand that Kevin Holland's been taken down by Derek Brunson and Marvin Vettori. The difference is these guys are laying on him for 25 minutes. Khamzat Chimaev's finishing these guys in 2 minutes with ease, taking no punishment, literally bullying these guys into submission. And if Usman gets taken down, it ain't Colby Covington with his little 165-pounder frame, all right? It's not, you know, Leon Edwards, who's again, a striker, a crafty striker who's got some grappling added onto his game. It's a massive Khamzat Chimaev who already is one of the best submission threats in MMA. And I think Kamaru is going to be out of his depths in this fight. Now, what happens if Khamzat doesn't finish him? Because, of course, we're not going to write Usman's chances off. He's fresh. And even though he does have these compromised knees and these injuries, Kamaru Usman knows how to weather a storm. We've seen this guy go through adversity. We've seen him, you know, turn the tide in his fights. Leon Edwards took him down, right? Now, Kamaru didn't get up. It's the bell that allowed him to get up when the bell went off to signify the end of the first round. But he ended up winning the second, third, and fourth round and won the majority of the fifth all the way up until he got KO'd, right? He was winning that fight after being put in a horrible position. He knows how to stick to a game plan. He's very disciplined, and he's very coachable. This is a guy that's always getting better in the gym. Even though his body is starting to decline a little bit, he's always getting better. He's always adding new tricks to his tool bag, all right? This crafty veteran, Kamaru Usman. And I honestly think that if Khamzat doesn't get this sub in the first round, if he doesn't knock down Kamaru, all right, and sub him and jump on his back and sink the hooks in, then I could totally see Kamaru Usman getting a hold of Khamzat after Khamzat maybe misses a takedown, putting him in the clinch and cracking him with some knees, some cobblestone knees to the jaw, to the solar plexus. And I could also see Kamaru Usman, jabbing with Khamzat at range and just kind of big brothering him in the sense that I've been here before, buddy. I have big fight experience. I know you think you're a hot shot and all that, but I think that Usman might be able to get to the mindset of Khamzat. Usman's a little bit meaner than Gilbert Burns. We've seen Usman break Gilbert Burns mentally. You know what I mean? We've seen Usman big brother Gilbert Burns, and Gilbert Burns arguably beat Khamzat Chimaev, man. And I think that Khamzat Chimaev, the burden of proof is on his shoulders when it comes to his gas tank. He has to prove to us that he's got a gas tank. You know, someone was telling me that Khamzat Chimaev only gassed out because he fought the worst fight of his life. And I was saying, well, Gilbert Burns forced him to fight the worst fight of his life. Gilbert Burns punched this man in the face and made him forget about his game plan and made him emotional and whatnot. But Gilbert Burns did that to him. I think that if Khamzat Chimaev is a guy that just can't explode for more than 5 minutes, which seems to be unlikely. I mean, Khamzat goes harder than Merab. Merab, the Velostrally, is always twitching around, but Khamzat like fully commits to takedowns and does all of these really big movements, and he wins. But the point is, if he doesn't get the job done early, what's he going to look like after that? There's still a lot of questions with Khamzat's gas tank, and I know that when you're not cutting a lot of weight, your gas tank is probably going to be even better. But guess what? Kamaru Usman cuts a lot of weight to get down to 170. His gas tank's going to be a lot better. You know what I mean? So as I said, I kind of trust in Usman's gas tank a little bit more than I trust in Khamzat's, because I've seen his gas tank many times in 5-rounders at the highest level. Against smaller guys, yeah. Against people that don't have the submission threat and the KO threat as Khamzat, yeah. But still. So yeah, guys, I think that Usman has a chance to kind of edge this one out by decision. I don't see him knocking Khamzat out just because Khamzat's got a granite chin, and Usman actually does have a pretty good chin too, but he's getting older, and he has gotten wobbled by people before. So ultimately, I am going to be going with Khamzat Chimaev. I think he's going to take Usman down, and I think he's going to sub him, or he's going to hurt him, he's going to wobble him or drop him and jump on him and sub him. So that's going to be my pick. If Khamzat doesn't finish this fight, if he gets beat or just wins a decision and it's like a war, I'm going to be disappointed because I expect a lot from Khamzat Chimaev. In my head right now, this guy is the grappling version of Mike Tyson, okay? He's got a lot to live up to, and he should finish this fight. He's 29 years old, okay? There's no more excuse that he's young, he's too young. He's 29, dude. That's the start of your prime. Usman is 37. Usman's not washed, but he's declining, okay? It's clear that he's declining. 37, 29. Khamzat has to get this one done by an emphatic finish. Otherwise, he isn't the grappling version of Mike Tyson. He could still be a champion, because I know there are a lot of people in the comments that are going to be saying, bro, what are you saying, man? If he doesn't finish Usman, he's shit? What the fuck, dude? You're a casual, bro. That's not what I mean. I'm just saying that if he doesn't finish him, he's not going to be this otherworldly fighter that we've never seen before. I expect him to be extremely dominant. Right, in my head, Khamzat Chimaev is one of the most dominant grapplers the world has ever seen. If Usman wins, I mean, it's going to be all right. I'll be happy for Usman, but I'll be upset that we're losing someone that has the potential like Khamzat. I know that if he loses, he could still maybe be a champ, but he's not going to be this, again, unstoppable Khabib type of champion that just nobody can touch, that's got this aura of invincibility, that's going to be finishing the highest level grapplers, right, with submissions. So, yeah, I expect a lot from Khamzat Chimaev. I think he's going to go out there. I think he's going to get this one done. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Until next time.